Hey everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing Enforcer, a mock I built probably about 6 months ago, but I haven't got around to reviewing yet. He's probably about 200 pieces and he took me about an hour and a half to build, and I really like his overall build. I like how he looks a lot. Even though his arms and legs aren't super complex, I really think he just looks pretty good overall. Here's just a quick size comparison of Enforcer up against a few of my other builds. He's probably about mid-sized on the scale of height of my mocks because Renegade is just slightly below average, and this Samurai guy is really one of the only guys that's that small that I build. And Rakshir is slightly above average. He's just a little bit taller than most of my guys. And the Enforcer really does sit slightly above the average height of my mock. She's just a little bit taller than most everyone. And I think he looks pretty good at the height that he's currently at, because I didn't want to make him too tall, but I also didn't want to make him too short. I think he's actually pretty proportionate for his size. Now let's just dive into the build. I went ahead and took away his gun. I'll show that to you closer up later on. He's really actually a pretty simple guy. I'll start off with the arms, and they're honestly not very complex. They're pretty simple compared to some of my other guys. But I think they look good. I really like this weird black Technic piece. I don't even know what to classify it as, but I just really like this piece. I think I only have like 4 of them though, but I think it just really fits right there. It looks pretty good in my opinion. I put these tanks on his arm. I don't really remember why exactly I put those on his arms, but I think it looks pretty good. As he kind of looks like a diver in my opinion, with all the wires going everywhere. You could see this as an oxygen tank. I don't exactly know why it'd be on his arm, but you can kind of see him as a diver, especially with these feet that kind of look like a flipper. And turning him around back, he has this spike shield piece. I think this one's from Von Nebula in particular. But I don't think his back is really that interesting. It's kind of plain. Honestly, looking at him from the side, it's really plain. All that you can see is just wires and exposed Technic pieces. But honestly, I think his best look is just from the front or slightly from the side. And his legs are very, very plain, as you can see. I like how they look, but they're really plain. It probably took me like 5 minutes to make all of his limbs together. They are so simple. And before I finished him, I was really annoyed because I didn't have this chest plate on. So it looked really bad right there. I was really annoyed. I didn't know what to do because obviously he doesn't look very good like that. But then right before I finished him, I slapped this on, and I think it changed the entire look of the build. Now he looks like super muscular and really cool and kind of scary. Originally he had a spear, but I decided to give him just this gun instead because it fit him more. I don't know exactly what he's going to be yet in my stop motions, but I already have made one stop motion with him called the Bounty Hunter. It's pretty cool. If you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend watching it. And honestly, this is one of my simpler builds, but I think he turned out so much better than I ever hoped he would. Someday I'll probably do a build video on him because he's actually really simple. And he doesn't really have anything else I need to talk about. Well, I guess he has these cool shoulder plates. I love this Bionicle piece. I don't know what it's classified as or what its name is, but I really like it. And I'm pretty sure you can just take all of this off up here. I don't know why I added this at the end. It just looked incomplete to me. So I just put this across to connect these 2 Bionicle pieces to the middle. And I liked how this kind of crown looked. It looks pretty cool. And it doesn't really limit his head's movement, but it does slightly, the up and down movement. But it's not too bad because he doesn't really need to look any higher than that. Well, I guess I do have one last thing to talk about. His gun, I almost forgot about it. It's super simple. It took me about like 2 minutes to make. It's honestly a pretty good looking gun, but it's super simple. I put this Lego sloped like transparent orange piece there because it kind of looks like a red dot sight or just any kind of electronic sight. And since the Enforcer's from a more futuristic time, it's probably a sight that we don't have nowadays. I haven't come up with what caliber this pistol shoots, but it's probably a decently high caliber. I haven't come up with whatever it shoots yet. It might be a futuristic round that we don't have around today, but it looks pretty good for what it is. I wish it did have a little more detail, but I think it's fine for what it is. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really went over all that there is to this build. It's super simple and it took less time than I thought it would to review him. I guess I just misjudged that he wasn't very complex. If you have any more questions about the build, just ask me in the comment section and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible.